Hi. If you're new here, I'm Summer. If you're not, welcome back. Today's video, just gonna be another little general message to see what you need to hear at the moment, or what you could go to hear at the moment, what spirit would like you to know. I'm going to, okay, I gotta get this lighter out. Gotta fish the lighter out for a minute. Okay, the fact that I actually had to dig for the lighter was relevant, given it's given dig deep energy. Dig deep. What that pertains to? Probably, like, first thing I'm obviously getting is like dig deep within yourself. I'm very much a inner work, reflective, introspective sort of person. That's pretty much what the first thing my mind goes to most of the time. Shout out the fan that I have blowing behind me that you'll probably hear most of this video, and because of that, it's just like consistently burning this piece of cinnamon. And I'm really grateful for that, so I don't have to blow on it a lot. And it efficiently smokes the place up. And it's gonna continue blowing out over here for a minute. Just helping stuff move. Okay. What does this collective need to know? We're gonna start with the Power Animals Oracle deck and pull a couple tarot cards after. Oy. Shout out the fan is like actually shaking, y'all. I'm so sorry. I hope my phone potentially like auto steadies, because it does that sometimes when I take videos and it's pretty sick. I don't know if it'll do it this time or not. Let's see what spirit needs to hear. What? Let's see what the people watching this need to hear at the moment. What spirit would like the people watching this to know. Please shed light on the information that the general collective watching this would need to know. Oh. Okay. I normally don't read reversals, but they came out that way, so I'm going to take it that way. Okay. What's on the bottom? Ooh. Okay. So we have the Lynx with discernment in reverse, Pelican with forgiveness in reverse, and Squirrel with preparation upright, with Horse and Freedom on the bottom of the deck. And I will respectively read you the bottoms that come with the animals. So the Lynx and Discernment card says, look beyond immediate appearances. That's what I was getting with that dig deep energy. So in the handbook, I don't really particularly read them any differently unless the card, like, I intuitively feel to read them differently. But when the card comes in reverse, that typically means there's a blockage within the area of the card. So the card might be giving a direction and there is a issue or a block or a stagnancy inhibiting your ability to follow through on the card's direction. And so the collective reading this is probably struggling to dig deep and struggling to look beyond immediate appearances. And the Pelican with forgiveness is the card that says let go of your judgments. You're probably also struggling to forgive people and let go of judgments. Giving, very judgmental, very temperamental. very surface level, superficial type beat. Squirrel with preparation says get ready for big changes. And the horse with freedom on the bottom, I fuck with so heavy it says you always have a choice. It's giving letting our emotions control us. And I've been there, so I get it. It's really hard to come out of. But it makes me think of mindset. I think you're due of a mindset shift. You're probably the only thing holding yourself back because of what you tell yourself. It's very much, I can't do this or I can't do that. You're setting your own limits. You're setting your own beliefs. Very much not limitless. We are meant to be limitless, infinite beings. We are more than just the physical, tangible bodies that we have. I am so sorry. Shit. That might be a bit better. Yeah. We are... It makes me think of Elphaba from Wicked. She, like, her when she's singing Unlimited. Like, that's literally us. But I take it the people watching this do not believe that. And that's really sad. I'm sad for you. Because it's self-limiting beliefs all day. And, you know, those are very hard to overcome. And I take it with the dig deep that I was channeling. I take it you don't exactly realize that it's self-limiting beliefs that you're holding. Because I remember when I was in this energy, I very much thought that even if I did try to change, nothing would change, so there was no reason to even try. It was, you're giving up without even trying. Like, you're tapping out of the fight before the bells even went off. Like, you just, like, the ride's just starting and you're already getting off. Like, you're not even going to see it through. You're not even going to try to see it through because you don't even want to see it at all. Yeah, it's really heavy on the self-limiting beliefs, because I cut to the deck and it says porcupine, innocence, free yourself of guilt and shame. See, a lot of times when we're triggered by other people, they're more often a mirror of what we perceive that we don't have, of what we perceive that we lack. And it's only a self-perception thing. It's where you literally have to, like, dig deep, because you do have those, the things that you see in other people are also what you see in yourself. It's like the phrase, the beauty you see in me, or the beauty you see in nature, is the is the beauty you see in yourself. It's like that, but it can be the same thing negatively. The same faults and whatever things you think about me is pretty much just a reflection of what you think about yourself. We as human beings have big habits of projecting our own beliefs and thoughts and opinions about other people, about ourselves onto other people. And in turn, we can project, because I'll take that as a Freudian slip. We can take what we perceive, we can take other people's stuff onto ourselves as we can place our own things onto other people, our own perceptions, our own beliefs. It can go both ways. And so it really takes time and effort to be able to actually hone that discernment, to be able to distinguish what is your feeling, what is your belief, and what is not your belief. Because You always have a choice. Yeah, look beyond immediate appearances and let go of your judgments. You must really be struggling to I'm getting introspect and self-reflect, because look beyond immediate appearances, obviously, like, man, I don't even know what other kind of interpretation that could be if you have that in reverse. The opposite meaning of beyond surface level appearances would be deep, core things. So you're probably struggling to dig deep. You need to dig deep. That is what Spirit is saying. You need to analyze your core beliefs and how that is affecting your feelings about other people. Because let go of your judgments. You are seemingly not doing that. You are really struggling to let go of your judgments because you are not digging deep. You always have a choice. It's a choice whether to perpetually ignore your own needs and limiting beliefs and continue to perpetuate harm and hurting other people and, indulging in things that do not benefit you. That is a choice. What you don't change, you choose. Nobody is controlling your actions. Nobody is like hijacking your brain and controlling you with a video game controller. No, you're in control. And what you don't change, you choose. So you can either continue going about your life with weaponized incompetence in the psychological and self department, and it's like you're pretending that you don't know. It's like you literally don't know what's going on because you refuse to reflect, and you're like, this is all that it is. Meh. Well, the tea is, that's not all that it is. You just gotta dig a little deeper. Shout out The Princess and the Frog. Dig a little deeper. Yeah, that's those. Now, what do we want to get with the tarot cards? Cut it again to the porcupine. Free yourself of guilt and shame. No, literally. It's like, the longer you go on not addressing these things and consistently using means of escapism and instant gratification, the longer you're hurting yourself, because you're like actually hurting yourself and telling yourself you're not hurting yourself, or you're just ignoring it, and that unconsciously turns into and creates and harbors guilt and shame about who you are, what you do, your ways of existence, and like, yeah. That's that. And we'll get out, excuse me. Which deck? Okay. Using the Spencer's Tarot. You might be struggling with your inner demons. Four of Cups. Four of Cups, which is the Ghoul card. And the Nine of Swords on the bottom. Yeah, you're probably struggling with addressing your own fears, worries, anxieties, and also potentially where you might feel inadequate, or literally just your limiting beliefs. So I learned this the other day. I think I've heard of it before, but I re-heard it again and it really sank in. But our brain learns through stories and narratives, right? And our shadow continues to tell us, our shadow wants to help us. Its goal is to make us feel safe and calm and protected and keep us safe from perceived threats, all right? So our shadow, our fears, our shadow will tell us these narratives about ourselves or others to what our subconscious and our shadow perceives to be as a means of self-preservation. But in all actuality, it's doing a lot more harm than good. Because when our shadow tells us these fears and these harmful narratives, it perpetuates these feelings of, fear and guilt and shame and not being good enough or not being smart enough, or literally any limiting belief ever. Our shadow will, and we can be driven by our shadow without even knowing it. It's unconscious. It is our subconscious for a reason. And it thinks it's doing it thinks it's doing the right thing by protecting us, but actually it's just keeping us stuck. And that's what shadow work is, and learning to integrate that. That is digging deep and recognizing our subconscious and unconscious fears and limiting beliefs that we may have picked up years and years and years ago. And being able to recognize them and see how it is being perpetuated, and then taking proper action to change those beliefs so we do no longer act on those fears that we have about ourselves. It's kind of harsh. Okay, so moving from fears and a sense of lack is otherwise known as insecurity. Insecurity literally just means not secure. So it's incredibly easy to be not secure within yourself and within your abilities, and to not feel confident. I understand, because man, I'm sometimes there too. Shadow work is something that we always need to be doing throughout our entire lives, And it's really easy for our subconscious to regain control when we don't recognize what narratives we're telling ourselves or what narratives we are listening to, because we don't have to believe the fears that we are being told, right? So recently, I got in my head about my mom and unmasking my autism around her, and just other people in general in my family. And I was incredibly afraid that I was going to just get ridiculed, or it was the fear of rejection. And then I was afraid to do something some other schooling. I was greatly afraid to actually commit to that out of a fear of failure, because I wanted to tap out before I'd even tried. I was already being down on myself. So if I didn't take the time to actually recognize that was what I was feeling, I wouldn't actually be working towards to do that. I would still just be going about and not be trying to take to follow deeper, extra learning. So we can unconsciously be driven by these insecurities that we harbor deep within ourselves because they were placed there by other people and we decided to believe them. And that's the hardest part to accept, because we don't want to believe these things about ourselves. And the hard part is recognizing that we do believe these things about ourselves. It's understanding that, yeah, man, I actually do feel that way. I actually do feel sorry. It's like accepting the fact that I do feel not good enough or inadequate or like unable to be the person that I want to be, which it's not true. These are made up narratives. Our brain is really, really, really good at making shit up to keep us safe. Our brain does not want us to change because change is unknown and therefore dangerous. What cannot be known cannot be known and understood. Therefore, the mind cannot accept that, at least not on an unconscious level. It's not an adequate thing. There's not enough data there. Like, it's like, great argument, Senator. Now let me see you back it up with a source. That's what I've been thinking about. And so, with these insecurities within ourselves and within the people around us, we can go our entire lives not knowing that we actually feel that way about ourselves because we are too busy running from it and not actually addressing the fact that we feel that way. It's incredibly, incredibly easy to do that. Actually, it feels easier to run away and distract and numb ourselves. It feels a lot easier to do everything else opposed to actually facing our fears and actually facing how we feel about ourselves and why other people make us so upset. Is because they are triggering something within us, and that is there's a wound. There's a wound that they're poking. They didn't wound us, but they poked the wound that we already had that had been infected and festered. And so, because we just leave this wound alone and don't do anything to heal it, it continues to get infected and it grows and it grows and it hurts more and more and more because you're ignoring it and you're not doing anything about it. Okay. It's like, you got all that from one card? Yeah. Well, I did. I did get all that. I got it from 2 cards, actually. Technically 5 cards. Yeah. Because deep down at the end of the day, we all just want to feel secure in ourselves and within our family. I mean, we are social creatures. That is what we desire on a deep core genetic level. We yearn for it. And so when we perceive that other people have the things that we deeply believe that we don't have within ourselves, we get really fucking upset about it. Whether that upset manifests as anger or jealousy or resentment or envy, or literally you could name any other trick in the book, any other feeling or emotion that you might have. Man, I recommend getting an emotions wheel. That thing helped me out a lot. Because it gives you a lot of other options that are slightly more specific to be able to pinpoint what you are actually feeling. And man, there are some feelings that doesn't even exist in the English language. So, just you gotta dig deep and figure out the source if you actually ever want to change that. Because instant gratification is just that. It's instant gratification. That made me... I'm hearing the line in the song I Woke Up Today by, I think it's Brahman. It's easy to tear other people down. It's harder to help other people stand. It's easy to keep to yourself. It's harder to give other people a helping hand. When I was down and out, my friends and family kept me alive. Shout out my people, I wouldn't be here without your love let me survive. Humility more important than pride. If my brother need me, then I'ma slide. I love my life in a way that these fake motherfuckers cannot understand if they tried. And then something that has to do with going outside, like letting the airflow into his lungs. I think it's I let the water flow into my blood. I let the air flow into my lungs. It filled me with power. That boy is a gun. It's so good. I love that song. I love that song so much. It's funny too because it's got a bar in it where he's singing about, I had to fire my manager back in the day. He was stupid and shallow. Now he on bum shit. Heard through the grapevine. He scammed NASCAR aloe. Took all the money from his fans. Didn't ship none of that merchandise out. Some people dirty for life. Some people act like a man. They ain't work that shit out. Or they work that shit out. It's like, yeah. This will sound crazy, and if you're, man, it's not gonna sound crazy. It'll just sound impossible to those that think they're incapable of it. But no, I'm gonna say it. Try to cultivate inner peace. And if you are in a constant state of chaos and inner turmoil and fear and worry, you probably do not think you are capable of that. But as somebody who has been there, you are capable of that. You just have to try. And you have to heal. Because before, when I was talking about the Brahmin song, I cut to the Ace of Swords, which is truth and new beginnings and honesty. And as I'm sitting here saying, cultivate inner peace, it's because I pulled the Temperance card. And that is a card of healing and a card of trusting the process and trusting the journey and actually doing the healing and the inner work. And actually, it's a card of balance and inner peace, and particularly peace in general. So if you want to cultivate inner peace and you want to release these judgments that you continue to harbor and to, release guilt and shame and to, what was the card before the pelican? The words are there. It's discernment, links. It's the... If you want to cultivate inner peace, you have to dig deep. You have to dig deep and do the healing work. A lot of people think the healing work is a bunch of bullshit. They think it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo bullshit. But I'm telling you, as somebody who's fucking done it for years, it's not bullshit. It is just something that you cannot tangibly, physically watch happen. It is literally trusting the fucking process, because you have to do all this inner work. And then as you are doing it, especially in the fucking beginning, first 2 years, I didn't feel like shit was happening. But as you go through it, and if you have somebody who's like helping you on your way through it, you guys together can be able to mark your progress as you become more and more aware. It's literally all about awareness. It's all about awareness. And I take it the collective that I'm talking to isn't very aware. They probably think they're aware, but they're not incredibly aware, at least not from what I have been able to gather from the cards that Spirit has given me and the downloads that I've received. And yeah, this is very much a tough love video. You need to get more in tune with your emotions. And if you're thinking like, I'm emotional all the time, if you're angry all the time, you're not emotional all the time. You are consistently living from having what feels like everybody else's fingers, but it's really like your fingers stuck in your festered wound. Anger is a front. It is a cover up. It is a secondary emotion. That anger is stemming from some other emotion. And it's up to you to figure out what that emotion is and why that emotion happened and what that emotion says about you and the beliefs that you hold about yourself. Specifically about the beliefs that you hold about yourself. Oh my gosh, get the freaking Betwixt app. It's a interactive storytelling game that helps you do the healing work by yourself. You don't have to go to therapy. You don't have to do nothing. And it's an interactive literary game that helps you. And it's like created by professionals, like not only professional therapists, but also people who have done the mind work, like psychology work and like human brain functioning. What is it? Like the neuroscientists who like study the human nervous system and also the human brain and how they work together. And like it gives you all these resources that have to do like that gives you extra insight to the game that you just played. They happen in little sections, though I am telling you now so you don't get upset when you actually go to the game. It will ask for you to pay something, but if you don't have the money to pay it to unlock the stuff in the game, you can request getting it for free. And I highly recommend, because I have a feeling this collective is just really negative about themselves, particularly doesn't think that anything good can ever happen to them ever. So when it asks you, like, you have to look for it on the screen to be able to request to get access for free. Do that. The worst thing you do is get rejected, denied. But if you do it, you'll get free access to the whole game. And that's pretty sick. It's like high risk, low reward. Or the other way around. You might think it's high risk, low reward, but it's not. Rejection may feel and very, very scary. And I understand. I've been there. I had, and it's still something that I struggle with, fear of rejection. Trust me, I get it. But it is something you have the ability to conquer. And it's literally the narratives that you keep telling yourself. If you tell yourself that you're not going to get it and it doesn't matter, then you're probably not going to do it at all. And you're not even going to find out. You're not even going to give yourself the chance. Which is really sad, because you miss a lot of opportunities that way. Because you're not even... If you don't think you're going to get it, then you're not going to get it. If you think, hey, I just might get this, then you might get it. Like, I'm sorry for getting frustrated, but as somebody who's, worked through it, and I'm standing on the other side, it really seems like 2 + 2 = 4. And I was just sitting and screaming at the wall, 2 + 2 is 6! It's 4. It's 4. It's gonna be okay. You just have to try. Yeah, you have to stop letting your fears control your life. Because your fears are actively, like, I'm sitting here looking at the Page of Cups. Your own inner demons are what is holding you back, because you don't address them, you just let them run wild. Because I'm sitting here, the Page of Cups is a satyr card, and it's got a satyr sitting on a log, and he's playing a flute, and there's a bunch of grapes everywhere, and he's got a little glass of wine and a bottle too. Every time I see this card, I think of Lord Dionysus, and how he is the god of drunk and, you know, wild attributes like being inebriated in any way, shape, or form, and sex and all that stuff. You're just letting your... I sounded like the deer, the tube thing that's got the little slider in it. It goes... I just sounded like that for a minute. That was kind of funny. But yeah, you've just been letting those run wild. And because I cut the deck to the moon and the Ace of Pentacles is sticking out on the bottom. You're letting your own fears stop you from getting opportunities. Because you already perceive that you won't get them, so you don't even try. When you literally... It's the universe trying to give you these opportunities, but you will not get any of them because they're not going to hold your hand through it. They're not going to be like, oh, they don't want this, so I'm just going to give it to them anyway. No. If you want it, there's a chance that you can get it, but you have to actually allow yourself to want it and to try to get it. Yeah. Your fears are literally burdening you. I slid the moon up, and underneath of it is the 10 of Wands. Your fears are literally burdening you and blocking you from getting any new opportunities. I have a feeling this is probably making you mad because, you know, you perceive that you're not getting any of these opportunities. It's because you don't think you deserve them. It's because deep down you don't think you're good enough for them, or that you can actually get them. You don't think that you're worthy of them. You have to know that you're worthy of them. You have to believe that you're worthy of them. You have to believe that these are already yours. It's just a matter of time until they show up. But you won't get there until you face your fears. Spirit really needs you to start facing your fears. Period. Yeah. You need to start facing your fears so they can actually give you everything you've ever wanted. But they won't do that until you actually do the inner work and actually stop being led by your shadow. Because you need to work in balance with the universe. Shadow integration is a must. It is a must. It is not optional. I mean, it is optional. I'm seeing the horse card in my mind. You have a choice. You don't have to do the shadow work, but you won't be able to get all these opportunities that Spirit wants to give you if you don't do the shadow work. Okay. Is there anything else that they need to know before we close this up, Spirit? 9 of Wands. Yeah, and you're probably going to be incredibly defensive towards all of this and probably think at the hardest end of the spectrum, you're going to think this is a bunch of bullshit. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Yeah. I cut the deck to the 5 of Swords. Yeah. Like the 9 of Wands with the 5 of Swords. Yeah, you're probably going to be incredibly apprehensive towards any of this information and just write it off because you don't want to think it's true. You don't want to believe it's true because you don't want to actually do any of that inner reflection. You don't want to actually have to potentially... It's your ego. You're very egoic if I am reading you to filth right now. You're acting from your ego. You don't want to admit the fact that maybe you're wrong, or maybe, I could probably do this inner work. If you are being incredibly judgmental about this, then that's because you have that insecurity within yourself that you don't know what you're doing, or you don't, literally projecting. You're probably projecting onto me. I just cut it to the Ace of Swords. Yeah. All of the anger and potential hatred that you might feel towards me right now, saying all this shit, is literally projection because you feel that way about yourself. Don't shoot the messenger, because I know that I know what I'm talking about, but I don't think you know what you're talking about. And that makes you upset because you want to know what you're talking about, but you don't think that you're smart enough or capable enough. And so you don't learn. You don't try because you don't think you can do it. I'm wishing you well, honey, because it's gonna suck ass. It really does. But, you'll never get there unless you try. And if you keep projecting all of your own feelings onto other people, saying, I never understood it. The phrase that when you point one finger, three more are pointing right back at you. I never got it. And then that's why all the kids in middle school started pointing like this. So, no fingers would be pointing back at them, but it was never literal. It was never a literal expression. It was talking about projection. That was exactly what that the saying was talking about. Because when you're pointing at somebody in an argument saying, you're this and you're that, that's one of the first things that you learn in therapy. Well, depends on where you go. But one of the things that I learned in therapy is don't use the word you. Use the word, you want to speak about yourself. Talk about, this made me feel like this. I felt this way because, not you made me feel this way. Because you're the one making yourself feel the way that you're feeling. Nobody else can make you actually feel things. It's all because of wounds that you have within yourself that you are not addressing, that you end up projecting onto other people. Yeah. Yeah. I got the Strength card and the Three of Cups. Do that inner work. Do that inner work and start projecting on everybody to tear other people down. It's easy to tear other people down. It's harder to help other people stand. And if you want to stop feeling so miserable and stop feeling so full of hatred, you gotta shout out Michael Jackson. If you want to make the world a better place, you gotta look at yourself and make a change. And you gotta do the work. You gotta dig a little deeper and do the work. And it's gonna be a slow process and it's gonna take time, but no one can make you do it. Nobody can make you change. Nobody can actually make you feel anything. People can trigger you and you can project how you're feeling and make it feel like other people's faults. It's not really their fault, though. If somebody, I'm literally talking about specifically being triggered by other people. It's a reflection of you, babe. I don't know what else to tell you. And if you're gonna keep being so mad about it, and if you're gonna keep just thinking that I'm spewing nonsense, it's because you are the one who literally, it's a projection. It's how you see yourself. How you view others is how you view yourself. The beauty in me is the beauty you see in you. It works the same way negatively. The evil you see in me is the evil you see in you. It's like literally same shit. Same shit, different day. Yeah. All right. That's what Spirit's got for you. And, you know, this isn't, part of it is my advice, but it's all my advice that's been channeled from Spirit, okay? So, this is a message from your Spirit team. This is what they wanted you to know. I wouldn't be saying all this shit right now if they didn't want you to know it. I hope you have a good rest of your day.